Well. Look who we have in the house right now. We are number two of three interviews on a fine Monday evening. I am here. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Brandino Davis, baby. What's happening?
Going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Wow. I haven't seen you in a long time, my friend.
Yes, I know. It's kind of weird how things just flies by. I just started going back maybe 2 years ago because I had two car accidents and my mother got diagnosed with cancer, so I had to take care of life. But I'm back and at it and stuff. So
Wow.
sudden down 4 pounds and stuff.
Life takes us on a weird journey, no matter what we're doing, obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But when in wrestling and people kind of disappear, you're like, where the fuck is Mr. Davis? And stuff like that. Some people will say, hey, he's got shit to take care of. Some people will say, I don't know, I haven't talked to him in a while. So, I mean, because when guys and girls, when I don't see him for a while, I feel concerned. And I'm not really keen on reaching out and, like, I don't like to cross that fan wrestler line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I'm just a quiet person when I'm not in the ring. So I had to handle it by myself. For people who knew me and stuff like that, knew what was going on, and I left it for a while. But I had an itch since I left, and I had to just take care of life and just get better. And now I'm down almost 110 pounds. I'm looking to the part. I'm trying to revolutionize myself, and you just have to deal with what you have to deal with.
Wow. So as you're dealing with life, on the side, you've lost some weight, which over 100 pounds is like a total transformation.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a long journey. When I started wrestling probably 9 years ago, I can't believe it's almost 10 years ago, I trained with Jason Rumbo. He was with DC Dillinger and a lot of people. Then when Jason moved, I trained with the Bell Time Club. A lot of people didn't realize, right? So Bo Douglas, Mike McCarthy, Benny Jux, all of them. And when they started thriving, just when everything started hitting the fan. But I'm back at it. I just love it. I miss it. I'm mad that this whole quarantine stuff is driving me up the wall.
So I'd kind of like to stay on topic of the transformation, if you will. And I know we're at a weird time and you haven't been able to maybe come back and present your new self, if you will. Am I correct on saying that so far?
Yeah. I'm trying to reamp myself as we speak. A lot of people don't know. I went to school for video game design.
Oh.
And I am a bona-fide nerd. So a lot of people don't realize that, and I too have a learning disability.
Okay.
So I have reading and dyslexia. So a lot of things that I do in wrestling, it actually helps me out in the real world. So yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, but I coach football too. In Chelsea High, I coach football and I teach. You got to make a living, and that's why I love what I do. So all the things I learned in wrestling, I've implemented in football. But
Really?
A lot of people, a lot of lingo. If you just twist it a little bit, it goes with football. It's so weird. So that's why I got into wrestling and stuff like that. And,
oh, no kidding, man. You seem to live a busy life trying to balance life and wrestling. It's got to be very hard to do both, I would imagine, right?
It's extremely hard, but once you accept it, because wrestling is a weird mistress. Even when I have relationships, they even ask me, who do you love the most? I'm like, wrestling, my mom, and then you. And they always hate that for no reason, but I'm telling the dead honest truth. And that's where you have to be in wrestling. You have to put wrestling first. You have to put wrestling first.
Mm.
And I was young, and I didn't realize that until after I missed wrestling in the 2 years. I didn't happen. Then I missed it completely, and I totally understand it. So now I'm in the new the travel.
So with the time off, you've transformed yourself physically. That's done something transforming yourself mentally, because we talk a lot about that on this show. It takes so many things to be a wrestler. Never mind all of the stuff where you have to wear and the character and the gimmick and, you know, your entrance, the music, the name, all of that. If this isn't here, my friend, all of this, all of that, it should
It's
just get
nothing.
thrown right out the door, because you need that.
It's nothing. You need that. You need that outside idea. This is gonna sound weird. I consider being a wrestler and making a wrestler like making a superhero without superpowers. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And when you do that and you make that superhero, what do your superhero want to be? What's your backstory? How you're gonna accomplish that? It's the same thing when you compare to wrestling, like the faces and heels. I compare it to like Batman and the Joker. If you really think about it like that, that's the concept of it. You always have the good guy that always wants to fight for the people, and you have that bad guy, that one bad guy that like people love but love to hate, but always does something dirty to try to get in their way. And that's how I have to compare things. And I know it's kind of unorthodox saying that from wrestling, but when I hear it and see it and understand it from my point of view, and like I totally get it. And that's what wrestling is. It's your flavor of ice cream.
Yeah, absolutely, and it totally makes sense, because, again, and I repeat a lot of shit because I'm not that bright, sir. But
yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not either.
I correlate music and wrestling. That's how I kind of use the analogy, because music, wrestling, and I just spoke with. Oh my goodness, man! Did I have Sammy Diaz? I don't know if you're aware of who Sammy Diaz is.
I know Sammy. He's a good dude.
My goodness, I just spoke to him, and we correlate music and wrestling together a lot, because I've been a musician, and I see the similarities from one to another. May it be behind the scenes, may it be having to deal with a promoter, if you will, or just dealing with the guys in your faction, being part of your band, the live stage. The knowledge of wrestling is never ending. Same thing on the guitar. That guitar neck, you could never learn the end of it. So there's so many different things that you can compare music and wrestling to. And that's how I do it. You do it by comics or superhero type stuff. I do it with music,
Comics, superheroes, and video games.
Yeah. So you mentioned, you're a nerd. I don't know if you know this about a lot of the wrestlers, men or man or woman. There's a lot of nerds out there that's in the wrestling industry, because we're just a bunch of big kids at heart still,
We are. I actually out nerded someone in a wrestling event. It was the funniest thing. Who was it? It was a Troop show up in Pawtucket, and it was a while. I think it was like a year and a half ago. And who was it? It was Carr from Kincaid, Nathaniel Carr.
Okay.
And he does the video game gimmick, and I'm like, oh, you're a gamer. I'm like, yeah, you don't know nothing about me. I'm like, and Bo, who trained me, starts laughing like hysterically. he's like, Nathan, you just open up a can of worms. So Nathan, his thing, he's like, he does. When he told me, he does a lot of like comic books and tries to do the video game. I'm like, oh, that's cute. I make them. It's like, and he's like, wow. Like, I got nothing. I mean, even in college, people was like, oh, you're probably a sports management major. I'm like, no, I'm video game design and entertainment. I'm like, they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Because the first thing I loved was video games. That's how I cope with things. That's how I learned how to read. That's how I learned how to, like, see what's out there that's better outside of what we see in the area where I live in Lynn. So, like, I play RPGs and stuff like that. Like, I watch anime. Like, I'm a nerd at heart. Like, and that's who I am. I'm a bro. Like, I can tell you that Pac-Man was 1987 Pac-Man before Miss Pac-Man came out. But I know Adam Cole made that. I know Adam Cole made that drawing right back there.
Well, I'd love to say Adam Cole did, but it was Dave Cole, and I know
Dave
you
Cole.
know who.
Dave Cole. I always get
I
those
know.
confused. So
I know.
yeah, so this is live, so I can't wait to get on that. So I'm like, I was watching Adam Cole's because I was watching. That's all I can do is watch nothing but wrestling. So I have like a TV here and my computer, and I have my other TV. So I'm legit watching wrestling over here and playing video games over here. Like Adam Cole with that ladder match. Like when they was in NXT New Orleans, and I'm like watching the ladder match before I was talking to you. So I'm like, I know that's Dave Cole. I'm like, it's just the most weirdest thing you ever see. Like, yeah, and I'm like, Adam. I'm like, no, in your back of your head, you're like, damn, it's Dave, it's Dave, it's Dave.
I can't wait for Mr. Cole to watch this. I'll point it out just for him specifically. Yeah, that's an Ultimate Warrior Pac-Man from.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of them, like Ultimate Warrior. He did Mega Man with Macho Man Randy Savage, which I geeked out about. The Bowser one, the Bowser Ricky the Dragon Steven one, like has to be my favorite one.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah,
I was like, oh, I'm jelly.
I love me some Dave Cole. I actually own a bass that I bought from Mr. Dave Cole.
Really?
Yeah.
That's probably he's very articulate. He did the canvas for New Japan.
New Japan, Beyond Wrestling. I want to say MLW maybe.
I think MLW.
There was even more. That dude is crazy. Hand painting canvases. Imagine that, or the mats. Holy cow!
He's like, if you think about it, people don't realize Jerry the King Lawler is a massive artist, and he that's how he got in the WWE. He did a portrait of Vince McMahon, and yeah. So let's forget about my botch. So let's change.
Now, I've only seen you perform a couple times, and you come out, your character, if you will, Brandino Davis, you have the Letterman jacket. You look kind of a classic wrestler, if you will.
I'm like an Ernie Ladd of modern day, if you think about it.
Yeah, so you were talking about how, you're kind of nerdy, and the Letterman jacket. Could you talk to us, the fans, because we love to talk to the fans. That's what this is all about.
Oh, yeah.
How does this whole character get portrayed? And is it just from you? Did you have some help, or how did this whole thing?
I definitely had help, because the first time I wanted to do like the whole persona, and it was a bad idea. So Bo Douglas, he's like, "You have a Letterman jacket?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, you're not interacting to it, but not really talk about video games, because a lot of people can cope with it, but the level I talk about it, it's like unheard of." So, but I played football. Like a lot of people, I played football, I played college, I played semi-pro. I got accepted to go to the combines when I was in college. So it wasn't like a lot. So I was like, all right, I'm going to just stick with the jock gimmick, but I could be like Ogre from freaking Revenge of the Nerds, do a little bit of that. And I stuck with it. But every wrestler gets that time. You're like, I think I should tweak it a little bit and reamp it. Like Arnold Ladd did it, and he was still the same dude. He just was cocky, and I loved every minute of it. A lot of wrestlers, even like Seth Rollins, did it like 8 times in like 3 years.
Yeah, I use Chris Jericho as the character because he's still Chris Jericho, but he just tweaks it a little bit. Now, just think back when he first came in WWE 2000 and up to now in AEW 2020. There's been a lot of characters in Chris Jericho's tool bag, but he's always been Chris Jericho and just did a little tweak here and there.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. It's going to be a lot of work, but I love it.
All right, so now the character is one thing. Your attire, again, is one thing, but now you've dropped over 100 pounds from your physical being, and now you have to get in that ring, and you're not going to be able to wrestle the same. Your performance is going to be totally different. Your cardio, the way you move, how you throw your body, all of that.
My cardio is a little bit better. I like it, but I know how to like adjust when it comes to
Okay.
things. Like I always was that agile big man, so I can just be agile. So it doesn't make so like if you think about, I'm still like 220, 230. I could still lift. I could still be big.
Hmm.
I have to be quicker at it. So you just have to adjust like the strength, the speed, and make a
Hmm.
little speed with strength, and that's all you have to do.
So I'm out of the Connecticut area.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your home
Where I
base,
live,
if you? Yeah.
I live in Lynn, Mass.
Oh, Lynn, Mass. Okay, all right. Now, promotion wise, or because some men and women have a home promotion or a home base that they wrestle from, some kind of just go around. Do you have a home promotion that you work out of?
Bell Time Club.
Oh, Douglas and those guys. Now you're coming back from this whole thing. When you were away for a little bit, were you already able to do some ring work or matches or anything?
I didn't feel comfortable when I wanted to go back, so I had to get back into the ring, start doing the tours, bump a little bit.
Hmm.
But after that, now I'm doing good. Tag partners with Eric and Maine with Limitless Wrestling, Let's Wrestle. We're the tag champions out there. A couple other champions up in Maine. I'm trying to just travel. I went to.
Nice.
I think I've been to Connecticut maybe 3 times
Hmm.
because it's only like PAPW and somewhere else, but everywhere else is near like the Ludlow area, and
Hmm.
I would love to go out there. You know what I mean? I would love to travel. I don't mind it.
Hey, we have Test of Strength around here too. There is
Yeah,
Paradise
I
Alley
know,
Pro.
Papa Slick.
Yeah.
Every single time we did that, unfortunately, I used to work at a group home, so his shows was on Sundays, and I
Hmm.
start on Sundays from like 8 to 9. So I'm like, dude, I would love to go, but that's like a chunk of my day.
Yeah.
But now I work at a high school. I could just be like, all right, cool, cool. I can come down. You know, I don't mind
Yeah.
it. It was just travel.
Because the Test of Strength and the Bell Time Club, they're like brother.
They're like Slick and Bo are best friends.
Uh, on this show, I've had Slick Wagner Brown, I've had Bo Douglas, I've had Big Bear Machute, I've had Alec Price. I mean, holy cow. The Bell Time Club is a fantastic place, man. Could you talk about the fans, about the Bell Time Club for those that don't know about it?
The Bowtime Club is just like the weird. It's. Have you ever seen Toys?
Yeah.
Remember, like the land of misfit toys
Mm-hmm.
that people wanted to play with them, but not the all the regular people are. That's how the Bowtime is. A lot of people they want to like, and it's not a bad way. It's not a bad way. It's one of those like we can make you like it's like one of those things like we can make you still people love you. And I was one of them, and I loved every single moment. Bo was very hands-on with me because I'm more of a visual learner because of my learning disability, and I have to see what the hell I'm doing to figure it out, and not tell me what the hell I'm doing. That's also good with hands-on with computers and animation and stuff like that. So I know what to do if I move this. This is what's going to happen. If you give me a book, I'm going to be looking at you with 8 heads. So even with the when I was doing like the seminars and a lot of people do books, I have to use my phone to record myself to say what I have to say, and I have to tell them like I think I told Devon once when Devon did it like a long time ago, and I was like, Devon, I have to talk to you. If you see me on my phone, it's me recording myself saying what you're saying. He was like, okay, thank you. And like I just have a severe learning disability. And that's why I teach in my high school. Like, if you have a learning disability, you just have to learn and adapt. It's just like not Paul Bear. Paul Heyman says, hide negatives, initiate the positives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a visual learner. That's a positive. The negatives I really can't read. So I have to learn physically what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bell Time Club was a great stepping stone for me.
Uh, because I'll tell you, I've talked to Bo Douglas, and every time he would come out as a performer, when I see him, um, I scream, and I try to make it very, very well known. Um, I yell quite loudly, "Bo don't know." And I've been saying that to Bo Douglas for I can't even count how long right now. But after talking to Mr. Douglas, I will never, and I made it kind of like a pact on this show. I will never say Bo don't know ever again because you know what, Mr. Davis, Bo knows. Holy shit, does that man know?
I'll tell you a story. It was actually kind of funny, and he wasn't,
Yeah.
he's had a kid. So we was in the Fenway, and he was doing the stuff, and I was doing a spot that I was like, he's like, oh, you should do this spot. I'm like, I don't know, I'll do it, and I didn't do the spot, and I kicked myself. I didn't say anything. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't say anything. He walks by. You know how he does his little. Bo knows. I was like, yeah.
Bo knows.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just the letters on his shirt. That guy is very smart for the industry. And we talked, you mentioned Slick Wagner Brown, Bo Douglas, best of friends since they were kids, coming up in the Kowalski way, pretty much, man. Wow. Those guys are running some really fantastic schools, bringing up some fantastic men and women in the industry.
Yeah.
Since you're up at the Bell Time Club, could you tell us some, the fans, maybe 2 or 3 names that are coming out of the Bell Time Club specifically that you'll be like, you know what? He or she is going somewhere.
Alec Price.
Mm-hmm.
Alec Price is a tiny little Bostonian killer with a mouth, but man, when I wrestled him a few times, man, he has it. He just has to age a little bit, and that's just time. Who else? Shannon Thomas is doing good too.
Mm-hmm. Shannon looks good in the ring,
Mm-hmm.
Now Alec Price, you were pow. Like, bam. That kid is making waves right now, I tell you.
He is. I'm proud of him too.
Now, where do you normally wrestle besides the Bell Time Club? What are some of the promotions that you have been frequenting that you could tell us, and maybe we could look up it that we don't know, and we get to learn new promotions?
There is VCW with Jason Rumble. I still do his shows whenever he has shows. I do Let's Wrestle.
Wait, BCW, what's BCW stand for?
Victory Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
Let's Wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a couple of Limitless shows. Main Event Wrestling. I've done New York Championship Wrestling. RWA. I've done in the past. I've done Big Time. And I'm just trying to get to a couple other places. I was trying to get the Battlegrounds, but every single time I tried, it was always booked. I was like, damn it. I tried to do Lucky Pro, booked. I'm like, damn it. And I was trying to go out there, but this pandemic happened. So I'm like, well, let's start fresh. So
when all of this is over and you get back in the ring and we can have some fun, are you looking to go into some more of those promotions and work your way, maybe
I want to
some
travel.
storylines?
I want to travel. I want to go back to Canada because I miss going back to Canada. I miss the Canadian boys. I want to go mix up. I want to see everywhere in wrestling. So I have a lot of work to do. Okay. And a lot of I gotta start fixing my car because 2000 doesn't really do good.
You mentioned Canada. I can't even count how many men and women have said Canada on this show. I want to get back to Canada, or I want to go to Canada.
Canada is oh my. The words cannot describe how great Canada is. I'm like, you know how we drive around in the New England area, and you have a conversation with one person, you're like, oh, how you doing? And they look at you, you're on Carolyn. They'll have a full-blown conversation with you. They'll tell you how your day is. They're really stupid, ridiculously nice. The shows are wild. They love wrestling out there. Like, love it, love it, love it. I went to a show out in the edge of Nova Scotia. You had to like go to like an Indian path and like a mountain trail to go to the show, and it was over 400 people.
Wow!
And it was in like a hockey ring, and it was like a town. It was like a village, but it was. I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. I loved.
Man, I'm not going to Canada anytime soon, but I got to get my eyes on some Canadian promotions out there. What are some promotions in Canada?
There's UFW. There was VCW, Can-Am. There's been a bunch. I want to go to like New Brunswick area with a lot of people. There's a lot of good Canadian workers. It's just hard for them because, like, if you think about it, that was like an 8-hour drive. Like to go to Connecticut, that's like an 11-hour drive. So.
So what do you find? Because you have this this Letterman thing going on. Do you feel that you're comfortable enough doing it as a character? Is it part of who you really are? And like you were saying, you're a little nerdy and stuff, and it makes it easier.
It's just smidge who I am.
Okay.
And that jacket's actually a real jacket. It wasn't like I got it in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Got it in high school. Yeah.
Okay. And you're still wearing it. You must have been a big dude in high school.
320.
Wow.
320.
Does this character, I know we were talking little tweaks and stuff. Do you feel that your character would evolve into something else? Or do you kind of see that Letterman thing kind of taking a ride for a while?
I kind of want to evolve away from the Letterman.
Okay.
Because it's just getting into a bird, and I'm like, I'm not really in high school no more. I'm in my 30s. I'm 33, you know, and no, 32. Is my 30? I don't even know. And that's part of the past. Like, people remember me, but I need to like evolve a little bit. Sometimes people need to evolve.
Mm-hmm. All right. Would it be? Do you feel it might be something extreme, like going from what you're doing into? I'll just put it out there, like the Fiend, going from what he was doing and then the Fiend. Very big contrast. Would you be doing something like crazy over the top, or maybe a little something? A
little bit of something. And that point of view with Bray Bryant, he kind of just tweaked it a little bit. A lot of people think he overdid it, but he tweaked it a little bit.
Well, yeah, I know, but he's this big kind of thing going on now with the two-person. And I know Bray was a little kooky and all of that stuff.
But you have to think about it like this: he was a cult leader, and he went nuts after. And a lot of people don't realize and put it all together. Went after deleted Matt. So he started talking to himself. Then he reamped himself. So it's kind of like a call into like the demon inside me wants to play, and made it into a little Mr. Rogers.
I can get that. All right, I can get that. Now, the Bell Time Club got some great personalities. When you start working away from home and you start branching out, do you feel that it's a little harder to take us, the fans, on a ride with you? Are you able to? Do you have that tool that you've developed maybe over time that gets us on that ride with you? When you come out the curtain, we have to know how to boo or cheer you. You give us those signals either way, or the way you work in the ring. Do you find that easier at home, or when you go out on the road, do you find it a little more difficult because it's not always easy to get us to get in there?
It starts when you come out of the ring. If you come out like a house of fire, people know that you're the good guy, and you just have to you have to whoop the ass. If you're coming out like, you know what I mean? People are gonna boo you. It's kind of, to me, that's like, all right, what's my objective? If I'm gonna be a heel or face, what's my objective? where am I located at? Like, there's been places that I was in, like, I was in Vermont for Impulse Wrestling. That's another company I was working at, and it's in Vermont. And there was this one dude who was Confederate flag out. I mean, like, I'm looking at him like, my dude, you're in New England and you're in Vermont, but you're all Confederate flagged out. You know what? Good. He liked me after. And that's weird. He's like, hey, man, I know this is weird. I'm like, oh, this is extremely weird. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, can I get an autograph? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. He's like, you don't care? I'm like, dude, you didn't call me the N-word. You just, it's the way you like it. If I got you into it, perfect. I did my job. I did my job.
Now, for us, the fans that don't know of Brandino Davis, which side of the table do you play? Do you play the heel, the good guy, or the heel, the bad guy, or do you play the face, the good guy?
The face, because I have that, like, I always smile. And I'm one of those things I just like to go for round. I mean, if I have to be a heel, I could be a heel. That's easy. I'll just be as a heel, Romanowski. I put all those athletes into one, and boom, you have a heel. You know, like, it's not hard. You just yell at someone. You look at a fan, you yell at them, and you say, you're stupid. And you're like, I didn't say anything. Oh, you're stupid. Yeah. It's, as long as you get involved with a fan, that's how you eat.
Was that tool hard for you to develop, because sometimes it takes years to really hear us and respond and get that tunnel vision away from you?
It took me a few, but once I started to, like, look at it and look on the back from where I was at, because you have to know where your surroundings are, what you're doing. If you have to be over the top, if you have to be under the top, it takes a lot. But once you get used to it, you're like, all right, I got this.
I'm to here because I'll never get in that ring. I don't have the physique at all. I am to here. One day it just clicks.
It does. It's like the weirdest time that it will ever click. And it won't even be in the ring. It won't even be talking about in the ring. It'll be like watching TV or like watching like Walking Dead and be like, I get it.
That's awesome, man. Now, getting wrestling is a little difficult, especially coming up as a new wrestler, because, you know, there's politics and drama behind the scenes, just like there is anything else in life. May it be a corporation or your regular job, whatever the hell it is. But was Brandino Davis, was he accepted as he was coming up, you know, or was it a little bit difficult?
It was hard because the name, like, Jay hated Brandino. Hated it when he first started it. Like, I'm like, why you name it that? Because I'm calling a name like that. Like, I'm not gonna be like, it's just a random name, and people are like, that's a good name to remember. You know what I mean? And the reason why I named myself Brandino Davis is it's for my best friend who passed away, because when I was young, I used to watch the Flintstones, and I loved Dino because he was just a hyperactive prick. He was a dog. He was hyperactive. Davis is because I didn't want to be named Brandino, and I can help from T Phoenix. He was like, you just can't do one name. How about Davis? Because my middle name is Douglas, just like Doug from Quilt, like Doug from, you know, Nickelodeon. So I'm like, I'll stick with Davis.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you've mentioned RWA and T Phoenix. I've been trying to place where I've actually seen you perform. I'm going to say it was definitely at the Chop Shop. Is that correct?
It probably was. It was probably the Chop Shop. I did a couple of shows in Connecticut. I did a couple of Fenway shows and stuff like that. But okay. I think it was RWA. I was working Tony the Tuna or something like that, or like Mike Montaro.
That's very possible on either or. Love both of those guys. Never had Tony the Tuna on this show. Been a while since I've seen Mr. Tuna.
Yeah, it's cold. He doesn't want to be near this. He doesn't want to be near this quarantine stuff. He'll be staying in the water.
I have had on Mike Montero and a bunch of others from there. Isana, Dick Lane. Last night I had Theodore J. Liftington.
I love him.
Wow, that guy is an absolute gem. Not to slight anybody else that I've ever talked to. Very eccentric, very different. 139 years old. Did you know that, sir?
Oh, he gave me a book one time when he was actually in a wrestling show. He gave me a book and I read it backwards. So yeah.
Wow. Now wrestling, I'm curious, what's your go-to wrestling? Like, what was your influences? Because you have that classic kind of look and stuff like that. I grew up on the older stuff, AWA, WCCW,
Mine was
NWO.
mid '90s, early 2000s. People will be like, a lot of people fan of rock. You gotta be the fan of rock. But I was really a fan of D'Lo Brown. I love D'Lo Brown. I wish I was kind of mad because he had a seminar, but I think I had to do something that day. He had a seminar at the Test of Strength, and I couldn't make it. I was pretty bummed. I was like, damn it, because I wanted to ask him, like, do you still have your vest? Either or, can I buy it off you? But no, he was him, The Rock, Stone Cold. My first wrestling match, this is funny. It was actually 2006. I actually watched my first wrestling match. It was in Lynn. It was at the Armory in Lynn. And this was a big show. I forgot about it. It was Samoa Joe, Abyss, Jay Lethal, Papa Pump, and Abyss. And 4 out of the 5 of them had like a 4-way ladder match. And before I had my fight, I had an autograph from Samoa Joe, like this big broken table. I was stupid. This big broken table with like Abyss's blood. He signed it like with a pen on Abyss's blood. But, yeah, I started falling in love with it after. And I always loved wrestling. Even when I was young, I always loved it. My grandfather, I did not know, was a boxer in a circus, and he used to be a lot of wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, and he was a cheap. It was like back when he was like back in the day, and I did not know this until I was like moving. I'm looking, I'm like, and it was him on the corner. Remember those old school like wrestling posters, and it had like the circus and stuff at the same time. So I had my grandfather in the corner as like a boxing champion, and if I'm correct, Coco Beware, another one, and facing Kamala in like in a house show. So,
Dude, that's gotta be like when you're like, Gramps was a boxer in a circus?
it would be baffling because you'd be like, yeah, he was a canine chief in Boston. People in Boston was for, oh, and you were boxing, you knew Coco Beware. You don't go.
Now, I've been to, some of the house shows as I was growing up or whatever. But in Bristol, Connecticut, we have a place called Muzzy Field. Okay. Now it's historic because Babe Ruth has played there, and we used to have the Bristol Red Sox. So a lot of the Red Sox, it was
like the AAA teams.
Exactly. So we had Jim Rice and a bunch of names. I could go on and on about that. But my point being is, we had wrestling come through here one day, and it was Coco Beware versus King Kong Bundy as this like crazy main attraction that was going on for the day. It wasn't a giant event with like 6, 7, 8 matches. It was Coco Beware, King Kong Bundy, and one other match, and I can't even remember for the level. I don't know why. But yeah, those things, man, I love going to that stuff when it's, when you see it on TV, you think it's actually so larger than life that you'd never be able to go to one of these things. Then it comes to
you can go right down the street.
Yeah. Isn't that insane? You can go to wrestling anywhere you want, basically, in our area for like 3, 4, 5 states every single day of the week.
True.
It's flourished so much. Hard to get easy to get lost in the shuffle of wrestling.
Yeah, it does, because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's the same dude, do the same thing." So that's where you have to branch. I actually want to go to like down south and see what it is. My next goal for next year, I actually want to try to save up money to go to a dojo in Japan. So,
wow, I know a couple of the boys that from Test of Strength went over to the West Coast one, the New Japan dojo. I've heard some I've heard some stories. So, good luck.
well,
Hey, that's what you call challenging yourself, though. Opening up, getting more experience, getting out of your comfort zone and trying something different. Because again, wrestling is a never-ending experience, right?
it's just like you said, guitaring and learning like a craft. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Now, have you ever been a tag team guy at all, or just a singles wrestler your whole career?
I'm actually both right now. I'm a tag champion with Eric Johnson with the Stigma.
Do you prefer one of the other?
I don't really care.
Oh.
Because either or, you're showing your performance in the ring and stuff like that. Like I like singles actions, but I like tag team action too. I'm not a fan of the whole 3-way, 4-way, because I'll be like, all right, your brain hurts after.
Do you find it a little clustery for you to get into, because now it's a total different animal when you're going from a singles or a tag to now you've got 3-4 guys in a thing, so it gets a tad confusing?
Not really. Once you get used to it, you're like, all right, this is what you have to do. This is what I want to do. We'll implement that. Boom, 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 and it's.
I know where I've seen you. I've seen you at the XWA Center in West Warwick. It's got to be there. You've definitely
probably. I wrestled there too.
Yeah, I love the XWA Center. That's a cool spot up there, man.
It is. It's just in the middle of nowhere. You can hear wrestling. You can hear the waterfall right next door. So that's probably why.
I've had Jose Perez on here.
He's a good dude.
About the oh yeah, very good. I've heard from many people, very valuable his time. It's all good. You want to ask him something, you want to talk to him about something, he's always ready there to just give a helping hand.
Yeah, that's how Jose is, and he'll give you 100% truth.
Now, fun fact about the XWA: there's a drop-down mic. The whole building was kind of set around that. That was the very first thing that Jose Perez put in there, and then they built around that. I thought that was a pretty cool fact about the XWA.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, you don't see that anywhere,
No, it's more electronic and stuff like that.
So, Mr. Brandino Davis, I think that you've shared quite a bit with us, and I cannot appreciate the time that you spent with us.
Don't worry about it.
And I know, again, we haven't talked it out of the ring. Maybe once, I'm not sure, because, again, I've only seen you perform a few times. So, again, I appreciate you spending the time with us, my friend.
Don't worry about it, man. I hope you see more of me.
Absolutely. Come down my way a little bit. I'll start traveling up here, because I got to get to the Belltime Club. I've never been there before, and I just have to get up there.
When this whole thing's over, Bo and Dante and with all of them will do something special.
Absolutely. When you all get back from this, please just be safe, because everybody's going to come everybody's going to come back wanting to do some kooky shit. So be safe out there when we all get back, huh?
Of course I am. I got to be.
Beautiful smile from Brandino Davis. We had a fantastic conversation. This was amazing. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Brandino Davis.
All for all the time, baby.